Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Ron Howard, From Mayberry to the Moon and Beyond, by Beverly Gray, narrated by Donna Postel. Introduction. Sizing up Ron Howard should be as easy as pie. After all, everybody knows him. At least, we think we do. He has been coming into our living rooms for the past 40 years. First as lovable Opie Taylor on the Andy Griffith Show, and then as perennial teenager Richie Cunningham of Happy Days. Viewers too young to have caught his act the first time around have discovered his homespun charm through reruns. Others fell in love with his screen image as early as 1959, when he was first featured on network television. Baby boomers, in particular, can chart the passage of their own youth in terms of Ronnie Howard roles. During their childhood years, he was a plucky little boy. When they began moving out into the world, he was gingerly exploring life in high school and college. Now that Ron Howard is a full-fledged adult, with a family, a receding hairline, and a major career as a Hollywood film director, it's no wonder that many of us still feel a sense of connection. So familiar is Howard that members of the media tend to make sweeping generalizations about him. Some praise him as an American genius, while others dismiss him as little more than an overgrown Boy Scout. Kirk Honeycutt, film critic for The Hollywood Reporter, sees in Howard's directing career the results of a life lived entirely within the cocoon of Hollywood. The general view is that Howard, as a highly successful product of the Hollywood studio system, naturally gravitates toward the kind of filmmaking that upholds the system's strengths, by relying on star power, a high technical gloss, and the assurance of mass appeal through a predictably upbeat ending. Honeycutt's use of the word cocoon is apt, because throughout Howard's years in show business, the protective cocoon has been a recurring motif. Cocoon is, of course, the title of the 1985 film that moved Howard into the big leagues as a director. But even back in his acting days, his best-known roles could be said to cocoon him from the harsh realities of life. The happy hamlet of Mayberry was a cocoon of sorts, as was the whole nostalgia-fueled environment in which Richie Cunningham of Happy Days moved toward adulthood. But this is only one side of the picture. He's a lot more complicated than he seems. I spoke to Ron Howard on January 29, 1999, while researching my book, Roger Corman, an unauthorized biography of the godfather of indie filmmaking. He and I had a cordial, unhurried chat about the legendary low-budget filmmaker, who was both my former boss and the man who gave Howard his first directing gig. When it was time to choose my next biographical project, I found myself intrigued by Howard's own long career. No one else in Hollywood has so emphatically made the jump from child star to director, and his iconic status from his days as Opie and Richie continues to resonate, even while he directs award-winning motion pictures. Part of his appeal, for me, was that, in his journey from Opie to Oscar, there has never been the slightest whiff of scandal. As one veteran observer of the Hollywood scene told me, I have never heard a bad thing about Ron Howard. Never. Not that I was looking to write about a saint, but part of the challenge of a biography of Ron Howard would be locating the human core within the pristine image. My great hope, of course, was that Howard would give my project his blessing, but I was hardly surprised when, speaking through his publicist, Howard politely announced his decision to keep his distance from this book. He said he felt himself to be in mid-career and not ready to participate in a long-range assessment of his accomplishments. Howard's reluctance to get personally involved fit my conception of him as modest and self-effacing, as a star who has never wanted a star's notoriety. But to ensure the accuracy of my work, I tried making contacts within Howard's company, Imagine Entertainment, taking pains to spell out my credentials and my good intentions.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?